Okay, so I wanted to have a look at this phone because A, I've had it for ages and haven't reviewed it, and B, this is a bit different. This one is the Honor 20E. Now, you may have heard about the Honor 20. This one's a kind of slightly modified version. Now, I've mentioned quite a lot on Cool Smartphone that the phones that Honor and Huawei are putting out right now, the new ones, the brand new ones, have a little bit of a problem. Now, the problem is that America, Donald Trump and his government have basically decided to stop Huawei from working with American companies, and that has meant that Huawei cannot work with Google. And it means that their new phones, the brilliant Huawei P40 Pro, the Honor 9A, the Honor 9X Pro, don't have the Google services on them. So there's no Google Maps, there's no Gmail, there's no YouTube. And that's a little bit annoying, but the biggest annoyance really is the fact that there's no Google Play. So you can't get the apps that you would normally expect. You can't get that experience. You can't click on links around the internet and get those apps that you would normally just be able to go and grab. So what we've had a look at, we've already had a look at the Honor 9X and the Honor 9A. And for those of you that don't know, Honor and Huawei are one and the same. Huawei basically make Honor handsets. And so you'll find the problem shows on both devices. And by the way, this is the Honor Smartwatch 2, and it's fantastic. So I would advise going to get that if you want to you want to get Magic Watch, not Smartwatch 2. This is a Magic Watch 2 if you see it in the background. Brilliant watch. Anyway, I've reviewed that as well. Have a look on Cool Smartphone if you want to have a look at this. A sale on a website. Get it from there. This is really nice. I've spent £129 on this. You can change the faces. You get your notifications, and you can do lots of exercise tracking on there. But anyway, back to this. This is the Honor 20E. You can go onto Carphone Warehouse right now. You can pick this up on a plan for $14.99. I think the prices start at. No upfront cost whatsoever. And that $14.99 will get you on ID Mobile, and you can have 500 mega data, which is nowhere near enough, of course. But if you want a bit more data, you can buy it outright, and you can whack it on a plan with far more data. So let's say if you want 5 gig of data, you can stick it on ID Mobile with unlimited minutes and unlimited text for £18.99 a month. £18.99 a month for this. The Honor 20E. Now, the Honor 20E is a bit different, as I mentioned, because this one does have the Google Play services on there. I've already booted it up. Here it is on the right hand side. It's got a plastic back and it's got fingerprints all over it. It comes with a case in the box, which you can put on there to protect the thing, or you can just, by the way, that I've mentioned the plans. You can purchase this from Carphone Warehouse and I believe elsewhere for £149. This is just £149, and it includes the Google Play services on there. Ignore my fingerprints, I do apologise. On the back, there is a triple camera system here. I'll show you this up close shortly. There's a fingerprint sensor. It's plastic rear panel. There's an 8 megapixel selfie camera up the front there. The specs on this one are okay. It's got a micro USB charging port. Let's put this on wide angle. I'll show you some up close shots here. It's got a micro USB charging port on the bottom there. Comes with that cable in it. So it's not USB-C, so you just have to make sure it's plugged in the right way up. You've got an external speaker, which is on the right there, and you've got a 3.5mm audio port. And there's your microphone in between the audio port and the charging port. The left-hand side is relatively, well, not relatively, it's completely empty. You can see here how that is nice and shiny. And then on the top, hey, we've got the SIM tray, which is here. It's a single SIM, and you can also put in a micro SD card. There's 64 gig of onboard storage, and then you can whack in a micro SD card to boost that still further. So you can have loads of storage on here, loads of pictures, loads of videos, and you don't need to worry too much if you get micro SD card. On the right, volume up, volume down, and the wait key, which I've just pressed to get the screen. The screen, by the way, is not bad. It's a 1080p by 2340 pixel, 19.5 by 9 ratio, 415 ppi density screen. Translated, that means actually not bad. Really quite clear, nice. And it's 6.21 inches across from side to side. That camera at the top there is an 8 megapixel wide angle lens with HDR. It's a little sort of, I don't know what you want to call it, dewdrop or whatever. You can see here, that's where the earpiece is, just above it. Let's see if we can get really close. There you go. So there's the camera, 8 megapixel for your selfies. And then swap it around on the other side where the fingerprints are. And if we can get focus, come on. But anyway, there's 3 cameras there, you can see that. There you go, that's a bit better. 3 cameras on the back, 24 megapixel f1.8 main camera. You've got a 8 megapixel wide angle camera, and you've got a 2 megapixel depth camera. You've got an LED flash as well. It does panorama shots and all that stuff. Very nice. I'll show you some example shots. I'll just show you around the camera interface here. Yes, we can switch. Yeah, I'll turn off location tag. You can see here the camera on the preview, not so great, but you know, I'll show you the example photos later. We've got an AI system which detects what you're taking a photo of and balances out the image to and adjusts the settings based on what you're taking a photo of. So if I take a photo of a tree, it will detect it's a tree and adjust it all. And you've got loads of settings here, which you can see. You can add watermarks. The resolution can be changed. It's 12 megapixel a minute, and that's about the only option by the looks of it. You can do smile capture and all sorts of other bits and bobs. You've got a night mode, you've got moving picture mode, you've got slow-mo, you've got panorama, HDR, and so on. I'm gonna choose HDR because I like HDR mode. So that's the camera. I'm just going to show you also, by the way, more about the specs. It's single band Wi-Fi, which means it does 2.4 gigahertz, but it does not do the 5 gigahertz. So if I do a speed test now, I know that I'm not going to get the, I mean, my Wi-Fi here should go, hello, have we crashed? What are we doing? Should go up to around about, I'll show you actually. If I go to fast.com, it should go to 150 meg. But on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, you're not going to get that throughput. So you're going to get great speeds. 36 megabits per second here is not too bad, but I know that can go higher, but you can only get that on 5 gigahertz. But it's really not a massive concern at a phone price point, which is £149. You've got GPS, you've got NFC, so you can do the tappy payments. And you've got a 3,400 milliamp hour battery, which is non-removable, and you've got a fingerprint sensor on the back amongst this lovely fingerprint magnet rear panel, which, by the way, the front is glass, the back is plastic, as I mentioned. You put this case on here to keep it all nice and, nice and protected. It comes free in the box, and if I can wrap it around that last piece, there we go. It is precisely and fits very well. Look at that. And it's got the Honor logo down the side here, which actually says designed by Honor. Can't really read that. So that's with the case on. Now, it's what else should I say about this? It's got Bluetooth 4.2. I think I mentioned that. And the CPU inside of it is an octa-core Kirin processor. The Kirin processor is made by Huawei themselves, and it's got a 2.2 gigahertz 4 cores and 1.7 gigahertz 4 cores of that. And you can see here on system, if we go into system and about phone, it's it's Android version 9. So there's the CPU I mentioned. It's the HiSilicon Kirin 710F. There's 4 gig of RAM on this particular model. I know there are some specs floating out there that say it's got 6 gig of RAM, but I've got 4 gig of RAM on here. So I'm going to say that there's 4 gig of RAM on this particular phone. There's a 64 gig of storage, and there's the resolution I've already mentioned of the screen. We can go back. I can show you around the phone. Well, we've got the up close sort of wide angle lens on here. Now, as I mentioned, and we've talked about on Cool Smartphone when I did the review of the Honor 9A and I did the review of the Honor 9X, both very good phones, well priced, well spec'd, usual sort of thing you expect from Huawei and Honor. Likewise with the Huawei P40 Pro. But those three phones, the Huawei P40 Pro, the Honor 9A and the Honor 9X Pro, do not have Google Play on them. They do not have Google Chrome. They don't have any of this stuff you can see here. None of that is included on the 9X or the 9A or the P40 Pro. So what they've done instead on those particular phones is include something called Petal Search and App Gallery. The App Gallery is the Huawei/Honor store, which is where you're supposed to get the apps from. It lacks a little. It doesn't always get all of the apps you want. But if you go into the App Gallery and then load something called Petal Search, the Petal Search app will then allow you to get pretty much all of the apps that you want. So if you want TikTok, because you don't have the Google Play Store in here, you would use this system instead, and for the most part it does very well. However, here on the Honor 20E you don't have to worry about any of that, because Google Play and the Play Store, rather, here's a Google Play Store, is included. Look, you can get all this stuff, all the links that you would click on the internet work fine. Everything that you would expect to have in an Android phone that you buy with the Google Play stuff is included here. Everything's there. So it's a normal, I'd call it normal Android phone with Google included. And so you've got all of this stuff here. You've got Google Photos, Duo, Play Movies, YouTube, Drive. You've got the YouTube Music, you've got Gmail on here. You've got the Google Assistant, and you've got Google Maps as well. None of that is included or available on the Honor 9A or the Honor 9X. But it is here, and it's only £149 for this phone. $149.99. Buy it outright. You can get it from places like Carphone Warehouse, probably places like Argos, etc. Really good phone, this. Not bad for the money. Really good screen. Now I'll show you a bit about it. We've got this optimizer app on here which allows you to block phone calls, so you can do a cleanup on storage hogging applications like this. It's consuming all your storage. You can see you can clear out junk files on here and keep your phone running to the best of its ability, just like it was fresh out of the box. You can have a look at data usage as well, and obviously considering the price of this phone, you can go out and you can get a SIM only deal, and you can probably pay about £10 and you can put a SIM in here and you can get, I don't know, say 10 gig of data, 12 gig of data for that much. If you look around, you know, don't always consider the big networks like EE, etc. Have a look at ID Mobile, at giffgaff and places like that. Anyway, you've got this smart data saver, and you can actually turn applications on or off that are allowed to use mobile data. So you can say, well, booking.com, I never want it to use mobile data, but I do want, let's say, system apps. I do want Gmail, obviously, to use mobile data. So yes, please, always let that use mobile data, because I want to get my email, but everything else, no thank you. So you can really strap down what uses your mobile data. That's good. You can block phone calls from people you don't like and spam callers. You've got a virus scan here too. You've got themes, so you can change the way that the phone looks. We've seen this a lot on Huawei and Honor phones before. You can check for updates, but basically you can change the way the phone looks, and all the icon packs and the fonts will match and blend, and you can just literally click on one and say apply. There's more than 5, by the way. You can just go online and it changes the entire way that the phone looks in seconds. You've got a music player, which again is Huawei. You might have to log into a Huawei account for some of these bits. And you've got video player, all the Google stuff I mentioned. You've got a gallery, so you can see the pictures that you've taken. You've got Google Assistant, which has just popped up there. You've got Honor Store support. You've got clock, file manager, email, loads of tools on here that you may or may not want. Phone clone, an FM radio, which you need to plug in your headphones for, and then down, basically that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. But you can customize the way it looks. The phone itself is a nice looking handset for £149. It includes all of the Google Play stuff. It includes YouTube. It is another fantastic phone from the Huawei stable. The camera quality, I will show you some pictures on Cool Smartphone. You can have a look at that. But this is really a video overview of the Honor 20E. And yeah, you can get that right now for £149.99 as I speak, or you can get it on a contract.